Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to be installing this Iceco fridge into the Resurrection Cherokee. Today, we are going to be installing this brand new unit. This is the APL35 by Iceco in black. This is basically an upgrading unit from the APL35 that comes in the aluminum finish. And this thing looks slick. So we're gonna go into depth on the details of this thing on the voiceover. We won't get carried away right now. This thing is freaking awesome though. With that, we've got a brand new slide. You can come around here and I'll show you this opening. So this is gonna be like the towards the rear of the Jeep. We've got a nice handle here. We're gonna be able to basically slide the fridge out of the Jeep for easy access to it. We're gonna have to do a little bit of fabrication in the back of the Jeep there to get this to work, but it's gonna definitely be worth it. So this is gonna be our main focus here today. Along with this, we're gonna be doing a little more to the interior of the Jeep. Over here, you can kind of see that. We won't go into depth on this stuff now. We're gonna talk about this stuff a little later, but just keep that in mind. So along with that stuff, that's really it. I mean, we've got a little bit of stuff that came out of the original Cherokee build way before the Resurrection Cherokee was a thing. We're gonna be using some of that, but once again, we'll talk about that later. I think as of filming this, we've got like 25 days until we hit Rubicon. So we've got to get this done so we can get other things done. So let's get to work. I am beyond excited to get this fridge into the Cherokee. For the past couple of years, I've been using this 45-liter Yeti cooler for longer trips. I actually originally bought this for our first Rubicon trip back in 2021. Don't get me wrong, I love this cooler, but in my experience, cooler is only good for 1, maybe 2 days before you need to throw some more ice into it, especially here out west where it could be well over 100 degrees for multiple days in a row. Our upcoming Rubicon trip is going to be 4 nights where we will not have access to a store to get ice. This is where a fridge will shine. So, like I said, this is the APL35 by Iceco. It's a dual zone and all aluminum design, which means it's incredibly light. 32 pounds to be exact, which is actually really crazy now that I think of it. It features a top tier nano compressor, which means 2 things. It's incredibly quiet as well as efficient. I did a little research and a company called C-Cope, I hope that's how you say it, is actually the ones who make this compressor, and fun fact, they're based out of Germany. The first thing that we have to do for our fridge install is install the slider. This slider, I've got it positioned roughly where I want it. It's gonna be in obviously the trunk area here on the passenger side. This slider is gonna allow us, we've got a little handle right here, pull up on the handle. It's gonna allow the fridge to basically come most of the way out of the Jeep. The slider opens up an incredible amount. It slides out to roughly double its length from when it's closed. This is gonna allow for easier access into the fridge rather than it just sitting on the inside of the Jeep and you have to literally pull it out without there being a slider. I've been doing that with the cooler and it is not fun. So this slider, like I said, it's roughly where I want it right here. One problem I already ran into, you can see when it's closed, is that we've got a little lip here on the back of the Jeep. I cannot bolt this slider directly to the floor because then it literally wouldn't open because we have roughly, I'd say, maybe 3/4 of an inch of a lip. So what I did, I have this little square aluminum tubing. I cut 2 of these to length and we're gonna be using these as spacers between the floor of the Jeep and the slider. So very simple. Another issue I ran into, I'm gonna turn around the camera and show you all this one. So once again, this is roughly where the slider is going to be. This spacer, like I said, is gonna be underneath of there. That way we can open this up, no problem. Shouldn't have any issues with that. But something I realized is where you can see the holes that we're gonna be using here. We're gonna use 4 on each side. These holes are gonna have to be drilled right above where the unibody is, which means I will not be able to get a nut on the back side of the bolts that we're gonna be using on this side. So what we're gonna do for this side is use some little nut certs that we've used in the past on other aspects of the Cherokee build. So we're gonna be installing 4 of those onto this passenger side. On this side, we have a totally different issue. You can see under here, we've got a gas tank right there. Now in the past, I have by accident drilled holes into the trunk of a Cherokee and drilled right into the gas tank. So I'm glad I thought of this now so we don't have that happening. What we're gonna be doing is lowering that gas tank just enough, and we're gonna drill our holes and install some bolts from the bottom up. Once our slider is installed and that's all taken care of, we can literally install our fridge, strap it onto this slider, and the fridge install will basically be done other than the electrical that we have to run, but more on that later. So I'll tell you, I wish I had gotten this slider a long time ago. Honestly, after installing this one, I'm thinking about getting a second one to go right next to this one, and I could put tools, parts, whatever I want on it. I feel like doing that would make the rear of the Jeep just seem a lot cleaner, and it's obviously gonna be way easier to access everything. Now, I tried to find a weight capacity on this slider. I couldn't find one. Obviously, I'm gonna be keeping you all updated on it as I put it to the test here over the next couple months. We're gonna be doing a lot of wheeling this summer, so we'll definitely be able to see how this thing holds up. So, check this out. That is so sick. So this slider doubles in length when you pull it out. So this makes it so much easier to get to when we wanna get some stuff inside the fridge here on the side of the trail, rather than we having to pull, I don't know, pull some stuff out from right here and kind of try to reach over. This literally makes it so easy. Now the next thing, the slider comes with these straps, so let's go ahead and strap this down and see how these do. The straps seem like a good way to do this. I don't think this fridge is going anywhere. As far as I know, most companies who sell fridges and slides like this use straps in a similar way, so it seems like a tried and true system. But wow, look at this thing. This thing looks slick in black. So we got two ways that we can power this fridge, and that's the next step. We gotta run the electrical for this fridge. There's two ways that we can do this. We can use like your regular 120 outlet, which, I mean, maybe if we wanted to pre-cool this fridge inside the house before we go on a trip, that is what this is for. Or if we had an inverter, we could plug this into an inverter. Or we can use a regular 12-volt outlet that you find in a car. So we got two different options, and since I don't have like a crazy inverter and solar setup, we're gonna be going with the 12-volt option. So to do that, we need a spot to plug this in, and unfortunately, well, you know what? This is super long. I bet you this would reach to the front of the Jeep, but we're gonna go about this a different way. We're going to install a 12-volt outlet in the rear of the Jeep, and that is right over here. So this is something I bought off of Amazon. We've got a 12-volt outlet here in the center. We've got an on and off switch for these outlets, and then we've got a voltmeter over here on the right or the left, however you look at that. And actually, is this a 12 volt too? Oh no. So this is a voltmeter, and then we got a USB-C and a regular USB outlet right there. So I thought that would just maybe come in handy if we had that open. Maybe I could charge a phone or something from the back there. So we're gonna go ahead and install that. We're gonna find a spot for it. And I think the best spot for that, you actually guys probably already know, is over in this rear quarter panel. So we've got this little cubby space back here, and I think we're gonna install this. We're gonna drill some holes and bolt this on the inside there. It'll be nice and out of the way. And I still got plenty of room that I can reach back here to plug stuff in. And then we're gonna be wiring this up all the way to the front of the Jeep. There are dozens of different outlet setups like this on Amazon. I chose one that was cheap and seemed like it was gonna fit my needs. And so far, I mean, I'm happy with it. The fuse box is also off Amazon, and I figured y'all know how to drill and bolt some to a piece of plastic, so I did that off camera. So here's what we've got. we've got the fridge actually plugged in right now, as if, you know, this is what it's gonna look like once we're all set up and done. So our fridge is plugged in with our cord right here, and I have it wrapped around towards the back, and then you can kind of see it coming up around the corner here and going into our 12-volt outlet. So this outlet is not hooked up yet along with our fuse panel. Not exactly sure how I want to wire this up, but I do know the next step is we're gonna run a power wire from our battery up front in our engine bay all the way to the back here to our fuse panel. I'm using a 4-gauge cable for this main power wire. Probably overkill, but I have a lot of it hanging around the shop, so I might as well use it. I'm wrapping it in the same braided wire loom that we used when we did the rest of the wiring in the Jeep when we did the engine bay and whatnot. This stuff looks really good, and it'll protect the wires from chafing, which we definitely need to worry about. I ran the cable from the positive battery terminal through the firewall to a circuit breaker and then down to our fuse box out back. I then used a 4-gauge cable for the negative to the fuse box as well. This I just grounded to the body of the Jeep. All right, it's a new day. I got the fridge done last night, and the whole setup is looking really good. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. There are a few things that I would change about it, but we can talk about that after. So let's start in the front actually. So very first, so we're running a 4-gauge power wire from our starting battery. We're coming through the firewall here, and it is actually this blue wire that you can see right here. That runs down under the dash here. And then under the dash, I won't show y'all, but I put one of those circuit breakers. So basically, I just gotta come down here and turn it on. So that's on now. So now we have power going from the start battery all the way back to our switch here. I think that's smart, just so I can be able to turn that off and we don't have to always have power coming to the back of the Jeep. I think that's a safer route to go. So over here, because in the last setup that none of y'all ever saw, we had a cutoff switch instead of that circuit breaker, and we had it in the back here, which means that we have power run through that wire at all times. So I like this setup better where I can just turn off that circuit breaker. So back here, if you can see, we've got our power switch that I think I already showed you all. We can turn that on. We've got our voltmeter, USB and USB-C, and of course our 12-volt outlet. And then obviously our fuse panel. So our power wire, actually the other end of it, you can see right here is that blue wire right there. That is going into our fuse panel, and then from there, our power is going to the switch. And then from there, we can turn on our fridge. That's pretty sick. So this fridge has dual zones. Actually, let's pull this out. This is how far it comes out. That is awesome. We have plenty of room to open this and get into it. And it sure beats like hanging over all the gear that we're gonna have in here and try to get something out of the back. So this is gonna start cooling down. I think we're gonna leave this running all day today, and we're gonna do some other stuff, and then we'll check on it later. Maybe we'll put some drinks in there. And we'll see how much it actually cools down. So we've got dual zones in here, and I assume, I don't know which one is which. I assume this one is probably the fridge side. One's set to 39 and 24, yep, and then we can adjust it from there. So we're gonna leave it at that for now. We'll see how the battery holds up and keeps up with this fridge. While the fridge is cooling down, we're gonna work on some other things. Now, y'all probably know I make YouTube videos. Who would have thought? If you also film videos or want to, then you'll probably appreciate what we're gonna do here. I'm gonna be making a lot more trail videos since the Jeep is now drivable, and long story short, I need somewhere to mount my Sony a7 III that is easy to access. I wanna be able to grab it very quickly when I need to get a shot on the trail. In the past, I've either kept it in my camera bag, which is not easy to access, or I've put it on the passenger seat, which is not the safest spot while on a bumpy trail. My idea / fix for this, a quick release mount mounted to the dash. I realized I had to get my other camera or else I wouldn't be able to show you all this. So this is the camera. Oh, this is weird. This is the camera that I have used to film the entire Cherokee Resurrection series and a lot of other videos. But anyways, we're gonna see how this mount does. So I got that quick release mount on here, and we got the one that we just put on that the face plate for the radio here. So this should just go like this. Oh, that's pretty cool. I think maybe I'll have to get a smaller bolt or something so it's not sitting so far away from the dash there, but that's in a pretty good spot. Let me show y'all. So yeah, so in the past, I usually when I'm alone, like I will be on the Rubicon, I usually have my camera bag right here. I have some other, like my drone and some important stuff down here at the bottom. And I usually, when I'm not using the camera, I'll just set it here on the seat, which is sketchy because if you're going over rocks, like, you know, it's bouncing around. I usually have to wrap it in a sweatshirt. This is so much better. So this, I'll just be able to put it right there, and then you can see the quick release mount. All I gotta do is hit this button, kind of pull on the camera, and it comes right out. So now this won't be flopping around the cab. Hopefully this is a good spot. You can see how it kind of is far away from here. I think either, I'm probably gonna try to get some shorter bolts, and if not, I could always cut this one and bring it a little closer, but I mean, it bounces a little, but I don't think it's going anywhere. Usually, this stuff on the top of the camera isn't even here, so that's a little less weight it'll have too. But yeah, that is pretty cool. I'm really excited about that. I want to be efficient when I film trail videos because, you know, in the past it hasn't been all that efficient. I only have had like 2 cameras in the past to film trail videos, but going forward I think I have 3 now, and I'm probably going to be ordering a 4th before Rubicon. So definitely got to be efficient and kind of think ahead to where all these cameras are going to be placed so I can, you know, just grab one and go. But next thing I want to find a spot for are probably these, which honestly shouldn't be tough. It's just a radio. I want to mount the radios to the overhead center console, which needs a little love before we can do that. This Jeep didn't come with an overhead center console from the factory, so back when we installed it, I had to make my own mount for it. It hasn't been holding up the best since I've done that, so right here you can see me taking care of that. Before the end of this year, I'm hoping to completely redo the interior of this Jeep. That would include some comfortable seats, a headliner to make it look better in here, as well as keep the noise down, and we're going to be doing a hybrid cage, so we'll have some cage work to do in here as well. As for the mount for the radios, it's a super simple bracket we cut out on the CNC with a few bends in it, which is going to bolt to the overhead center console, and the radios are going to clip to it. So I just wanted something like nice and quick for the radios. So this is what I came up with, just like a nice simple bracket. This one, I think I'm going to end up getting a magnet style antenna for somewhere on the back of the Jeep. And I'm going to run that antenna to probably this radio right here, and then this one I'm going to get just a better antenna. This is the one that I'll take to kind of get out of the Jeep and maybe guide someone or spot them through a trail. And then that one can just stay inside of the Jeep. But yeah, this just kind of makes us a little more efficient out on the trail. I want everything to have its own home. So that goes for the radio. We got the Sony obviously right over here. We're gonna have a GoPro mounted to the windshield. We have a GoPro actually right here, a magnet one. This one is for like undershots of the Jeep, so that's kind of its home right there. It's kind of easy for that. But yeah, everything's looking good so far. There's a few more small things I want to do to it. I might do them off camera, but the fridge is doing well too. 39 degrees and 19 degrees inside the freezer. Let's open it up real quick, check it out. Oh yeah, it's cold. It's cold in there for sure. We're nearing the end of this video, but before we end this video, we got one last thing that we have to do. Before we do that, let's take a look at the fridge. So it actually just started going up in temperature. It actually was down at 39 degrees. The freezer is still at 19, but you can see the Jeep is losing voltage. This thing has been on for quite a while, so that is the reason for that. But we've got some goodies in here. Let's check them out. So we've got some ice in here. And then Jake and I have this crazy idea of making margaritas on the Rubicon. So we're gonna test that out right now. And to do that, you're probably thinking, Ron, you need a blender. Well, we already thought of that. And then you're also probably thinking, Ron, you need an inverter to run the blender. Well, that's exactly what we've got right here. So we're gonna be we're not gonna be installed. We're gonna do like a temporary install to this. That should be good enough to make some trail margaritas. So I've had this inverter for like 5 or 6 years. I've had this thing for a long time, and it's just been sitting on a shelf. And honestly, I've never really had a use for an inverter inside the Jeeps until now. So the plan in this video was to install this into the Jeep. Until I got to looking at this thing, I actually pulled it off the shelf. There is no way to actually like bolt this to the Jeep. There's no holes or anything. So instead what I thought is the only reason we want this is to make margaritas on the Rubicon. So I was like, you know what we'll do? We'll just take these battery cables, and whatever night we plan on making margaritas, we're just gonna hook this right up to the battery. So that's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna see if this battery will power this inverter and see if this inverter will actually, I don't know, get this blender to actually spin or something. I hope so, because I kind of want a margarita right now. power. Let's try to plug that thing in, see if it does anything. I'll probably turn the Jeep on for this, but that's a good sign.
Do it by eye.
Have a good day! What did you say? Have a good day. 1.5 ounces, what?
Take a cup.
That good?
A little bit more. Yeah. Do half and half.
It's a brand new one. This one's gonna be on the Rubicon.
What do you think I am? A little bit more.
Oh my god, no.
Okay, that's good. What are you trying to get me drunk? This might be a bad put more than margarita. This is a big cup. Wait, no. We need more ice.
Well, I don't have any, so you're screwed.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
It's gonna be a watery margarita.
No, blended
You keep going, that's nothing.
it. It's good. We don't have a lot of ice.
Decent. Way too much tequila.
Not enough.
Alright, so our weird plan worked. So I guess we're gonna be bringing this on the Rubicon, which the Rubicon trail video is gonna be like the next 1 or 2 videos. So pretty cool. I wish we could hard mount this somewhere in the Jeep, but I mean, we're not gonna really need it after the Rubicon. So I think this will do just fine. Well, I guess it will be kind of nice. We'll see. Maybe we'll get a different inverter. Yeah, so this is just a little Husky unit. Nothing special. Like I said, I've had that for like 5 years now. So I hope this video gave you a little bit of an idea on the Iceco APL 35. Tomorrow, Jake and I are going into the mountains and we're gonna be testing out that fridge quite a bit. But that is going to be in the next video about the Iceco APL 35. We're gonna actually put it to the test in some real world uses, if you will. We're gonna go on a camping trip with it. Anyways, we gotta get packed for this trip. I hope you all enjoyed this video. We'll see you on the trail and we'll see you next time.